Now at 6, leaders from the city, Winnebago County, the state, and the federal levels are all coming together to assess the recent storm damage.
And this comes following the multiple rounds of storms that swept the state line just over 2 weeks ago.
Now, leaders from preliminary damage assessment teams, also known as PDAs at all levels, visited several Winnebago County neighborhoods today, especially the area near Keith Creek in Rockford, a priority as residents along Charles Street experienced major damage.
The teams were working to gather more information from residents about their impacts. With that information, they will put together a plan for the state and the federal government to potentially get residents funding to help recover from the damage. Along with those PDA workers was 13 WRX's Emily McMinn, who visited the neighborhoods hit the hardest.
Michelle Hannikin is stepping in from the state level, leading the PDA team for the Illinois Emergency Management Agency. She says today is all about gathering as much information as possible as they work towards the next steps.
Our goal is to get as much documentation as possible so that we can package it up to potentially ask the president for a federal disaster declaration in those areas.
Due to the 3 nights of storms that swept the state line the weekend of July 13th, Hannikin says the rarity and severity of the storms plays a role in the feedback they are gathering and putting together.
What's interesting about this event is that multiple things happened within a short day or short amount of time during those days. So we've been able to hear, some people were impacted multiple times. The rain might have come up and then gone down and then come back up.
And that much of an impact is not common, as she says the team visited Winnebago County for the first time in several years today.
Not that I know of in the last several years. I know it's happened in the past, but not recently. So, what's been really interesting is the city and county have done a great job of collaborating together to provide that information.
While potential relief funds will be available to everyone, Hannikin says it's really geared towards those struggling with insurance coverage.
Federal assistance is basically for those that aren't insured or they're underinsured, so that's really important to capture so that we can tell what the needs are in the community as a result.
Despite local, state, and federal agencies coming together, the team does want to remind residents to not get their hopes up quite yet.
This is the first step in a disaster declaration process, and there's no guarantee of federal assistance during these assessments. That said, what I want people to take away is start that cleanup process if they haven't already, file an insurance claim if they have coverage for the damage incurred to their home.
Reporting in Rockford, Emily McMinn, 13 WREX.
At this time, FEMA says there is no timeline for when a decision could be made for residents to begin getting funding.